In this video, we'll be hunting a box of nickels. We'll be looking for anything older than 1960, including silver war nickels, buffalo nickels, or anything older. We'll also be looking for any foreigns, proofs, heirs or varieties, or any other cool things we can find. I don't believe this box has any enders, so look for some good finds in the rolls. So let's start the hunt, and I'll bring you in when we have our first find. On roll number 3, and before I show you what I just found, I did pull aside this 1964. It might be a clip planchet on that bottom left there. You can see it's not a full circle right there. Not 100% sure, might just be damaged, might be a clip planchet, I don't know. Either way, it's pretty small, but pulled it aside anyways. And this roll, I got a 1958 out of Denver, first Older Jefferson of the box. Next roll, and we have a few more nickels from the 50s. They are two 1957s and a 1958, all from Denver. Next roll, roll number 5, and we got yet another 1958 Denver. Roll 7, and we have a couple more Older Jeffersons. First, we have first from the 40s, 1940, minted in San Francisco. Then we have yet another 1958 Denver. Roll 13, and I see the edge of the first foreign of the box, and of course it's going to be a Canadian nickel, and it is a 1989. Roll 15, and we have yet another 1958 minted in Denver. Roll 18, and we have another nickel from the 40s, and this one is a 1947 from Philly. Roll 21, just got a few more nickels from the 50s. First, we have a 1954, minted in Denver. That's our first one of those. And then we have a couple more 1957 Denvers. Next roll, and we have another nickel from the 40s. This one is a 1947 Denver. Next roll, and we have a couple more Older Jeffersons. First, we have our first nickel from 1946, and it's from Philly. Then we also have another 1957 Denver. Once again, next roll, and we have yet another older nickel. This one's a year I don't get too much of, a 1951 from Denver. Roll 26, and I see the edge of the second foreign of the box. Probably going to be another Canadian nickel. And it is a 1992 commemorative. Same roll as that Canadian, had a couple more Older Jeffersons. First is a 1947 from Philly, and then we have the first 1959 Denver of the hunt. Just opened roll 29, and we might have a silver edge right there in the middle of the roll. Hoping it is. It would be this first silver of the hunt. And it's not. It's just a normal nickel that's discolored. Just a 1983D. Dang it. Same roll as that fake silver edge, and I see the edge of another Canadian cent right here. It's going to be the third of the hunt. Oh, and this one's going to be a newer one. Don't get too many newer ones. And this one is a 2006. Roll 31, and we have yet another nickel from the 50s. And this one is another 1954 Denver. Roll 39, and we have another find from the 40s, and it is another 1947 Philly. Roll 41, and we have Canadian nickel number 4 of the box, and it is right here, and it is a 1982. Roll 43, and we have another nickel from the 40s, and this one is a 1942 out of Philly, and of course it's not silver. Roll 45, a couple more Older Jeffersons. First, we have a 1941 out of Philly, and then we have another 1959 Denver. Roll 47, another nickel from the 50s, and this one is a 1952 from Philly. Last roll of the box had one more find, and it is a 1956 out of Denver. Overall, this box had a good amount of Older Jeffersons, a lot from the 40s and from the 50s. 4 Canadians, that 2009, and then that possible 1964 clip planchet. Might be, might not be, I'm not too sure. But I do have one more box that I'm going to add onto this video, and hopefully we get some good finds like silver buffaloes. Second roll of box 2. Just pulled out this 1959 out of Denver, and this was the coin right behind it. It's really nice, and it has a D mint mark on the reverse, and I flipped it over. That's a 1949 D in really good condition. I did already check, it's not the D over S, but that has a lot of steps on it. Let's put it under a scope and see. Yeah, that has quite a few steps on it. I don't think it would get full steps. It has a few nicks on it, but yeah, overall, that's a super nice find. Super nice 1949 Denver. Roll 10, and I missed it by the edge, but I'm pretty sure we have a silver. This is a 1942, so it's a transition year. Some are silver, some aren't, but this one definitely looks silvery. Let's see if it is. And it is. It has a Philadelphia mint mark, 1942, silver Warnacle found. That's an awesome find. Roll 15, and we have a couple more 50s nickels. First one was actually an ender. I forgot to mention, a 1952 out of Philly. And then we have a 1955 from Denver. Next roll, and we have another nickel from the 50s. And this one is a pretty beat up 1957 Denver. Roll 18, another nickel from the 50s, but this one's better than the rest because it is a 1955 out of Philly, and that is a semi-keyed 8 nickel. Don't see them too often. That's a great find. Next roll, another nickel from the 50s. This one is a 1952, minted in San Francisco. Roll 21, yet another nickel from the 50s. And this one is another 1954 Denver. Roll 23, and we have a couple more older Jeffersons. And these ones are a 1948 Philly and a 1956 Denver. Next roll, and we have yet another 1952 minted in Philly. Roll 25, halfway point of box 2, and we have yet another older Jefferson, and this one is a 1956 Denver. Next roll, and we have another nickel from the 40s, and this one's tied for the oldest of the hunt, another 1940, but this one's from Philly. Roll 30, and we have a couple more older Jeffersons. First, we have another 1951 Denver, and then we have another 1959 that's also from Denver. Roll 32, and I just got something I've never found before in nickels. Found a couple half dollars like this, but never a nickel. Got this coin, flipped it over. It's a double reverse nickel, and it definitely sounds hollow, so pretty sure this is going to be a magic coin. Never gotten a magic coin nickel before. Let's try to get it open, see what's inside, if I can get it open. Got that magic coin open, and unfortunately, there's nothing on the inside except for just that inner core of the hollowed out nickels. And it looks like they were glued together on the inside, like I had to peel them apart. So someone definitely intentionally shut this for some reason, and that is a really cool and interesting find. Next roll, after that magic coin nickel, and we have another 40s, and this one is a 1941 from Philly. Roll 39, and we have a couple more nickels from the 50s. First, a 1956 out of Denver, and a 1959 that's also from Denver. Roll 44, and we have another nickel from the 40s, and this one is a 1941 from Denver. Next roll, yet another nickel from the 50s, and this one is a 1959 from Philly this time. Roll 49, another 40s nickel, and this one is another 1947 from Denver. Last roll of the hunt, and we're finally going to get the first Canadian of the second box, 5th Canadian of the overall hunt. And it's one away from being an ender, and it is a 1983. Second box has been hunted, so let's go over the finds. We ended up with 24 S mints, 5 foreigns, all Canadian from 1982 through 2006. We also got that 1964, possibly a clip planchet. I'm leaning towards that it is, but I'm not too sure. I also got 2 2009s, older Jetsons, we did pretty well. We got a lot from the 40s and a lot from the 50s, including a 1955 semi-key date and that really nice 1949 Denver. And unfortunately, we didn't get any from the 30s, but still, that's fine. We still got a lot of older ones. And the two favorite finds of the box, that random magic coin we got in the second box with two reverses, one hollowed out and one just a thin one. They were glued together, which is interesting. Wonder if anything was ever kept inside there at one point. Who knows? And the 1942 from Philly, silver war nickel, 35% silver. Always good to get silver in a nickel box. And overall, this was a great 2-box nickel hunt.